faith, love, openness, willingness. You're in the flow with Rev Skip. Hey, good morning, family, and welcome to another episode of In the Flow with Rev Skip. And of course, I'm Rev Skip, and I'm honored to welcome you into this spiritual vortex. Oh my goodness. Like I always say, when you're in the flow, you have faith that a transformation can happen. We begin to love ourselves through the process, and we be open and willing to have a new experience in the presence of spirit. And today we are in the flow together. And I don't do this by myself. So I'm just knowing that it's God, myself, and my brother Diego. Get in here, brother.
Oh, I suppose I could hang out with you guys.
You can hang with us today.
Good godlings.
I love you, man. I love you so much.
How you doing, my brother?
I missed you last week. I had the week off, and we did the replay of Ricky Byers' show.
Oh, yes. Oh, I had a good time showing Ricky, seeing Ricky again as well.
Yeah, that was our first one. It was good.
I didn't mention this pre-show, but Bill's already mentioned it right there. One of the first comments this morning, and loving the backdrop.
This is Van Gogh.
Starry Night. I thought
that's Van Gogh. Yes, it's Van Gogh. Thank you, Bill. Thank you so much. You know, I'm going to ask you what's up, but I already know what's up. You just had a birthday, my brother. Happy birthday!
Oh yeah, it's been a big birthday week.
Yeah. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday to ya. Happy birthday. Happy birthday to ya.
One of the things I miss most about the choir, that's what every year, at choir practice, you knew that you were going to get a little Stevie Wonder's happy birthday.
Absolutely. That's the choir, the joy of the choir, and so exciting. How does it feel to be a year younger?
No, it's coming. I'm feeling great. Yeah. Next year's going to be the big one. Next year's the big 5-0.
Is it the big 5-0 next year? Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
We're going to have to plan something big.
Okay. All right. Well, hopefully. Hey,
Denise.
Yeah, everyone's on the line coming in. I love this crew. I love what we do. So we have some other people that have birthdays. My mama's 88th birthday. Who is the matriarch of the family. I got to tell you a little story. My mother, she's at the time where we are getting her to eat more because she's just not putting on the weight that we want her to put on. And, but it's okay. And God has her. And she's walking the house and she's walking around the house going, well, I eat my vegetables and I do this and I don't like to eat a lot of this and this. And I know I'm supposed to eat. I'm going, Mama, you outlive 13 siblings. You are the last of 13. What you doing must be right because you 88.
Don't fix it.
Right. It's like, so what's up with that? But we had a great time. It was Memorial Day weekend and we celebrated the whole weekend and it rained the whole time. But I was in the presence of my mama, which I always say is my mama taught me how to pray. She was the first person that taught me how to love God and how to embrace holistic eating and the herbs. She was the first Shaklee person I knew in our town, and she would go door to door selling Shaklee. She was the first person that told me about echinacea and golden seal when you had a cold. So shout out to my mother, Rebecca Elizabeth Jennings. Love you, Mama. I love you.
Love.
I love you. Achille Beckwith, a friend of ours, had a birthday. A few people, so shout out to Achille.
I believe.
Yes, 30th. That's right.
My father's is May 25th. So, yeah, this last week of May and the first week of June is it's like my middle of the year big birthday celebration for everybody. We all have a good time.
Okay, so this is my birthday month as well. My birthday is June 23rd. So I think we have a show either right before it or right after. So we'll be doing a Skip celebration.
Oh, so that'll be the big grand finale of my celebration. We started off at my father's birthday and we ended off at Rev Skip's birthday. I like this. This is going to be a birthday month, the birth month.
I'm loving this. And it's also our LGBT Pride Month. So we are a big shout out to our LGBTQA plus community, which I am a proud member of. I am an openly gay Black man who's serving God. And part of my work was learning how to love myself and understanding. I got to Agape International Spiritual Center, where our two guests will be coming on. We'll be talking a lot about that. I had to relearn what love really was, self-love. I had to relearn it because what I was told was I was going to hell for being who I was and that God couldn't love me. And I got a chance to relearn what real love was and the truth behind that. So I'm wearing my shirt today. It's Get in the Flow shirt, which is a part of the Pride collection that we just launched this week. And I'm going to play the promo right here, right now.
Thank you.
Hey,
I love that background
like that one?
track. Where'd you get that? That is awesome. Well done.
Dude, you inspired me to start creating my own promos for this because you do the promos for the shows and our opening, and you have inspired me to step out of my comfort zone and do the work. So that promo, and if you're listening to this as a podcast, please go to skipjennings.com and see that promo that we have running right now. Or you can go to Facebook. If you go to Rev Skip Jennings on Facebook, you'll see the promo. But what I love about what we're doing with this Pride collection, 10% of our profits will go to the Trevor Project. And if you don't know what the Trevor Project is, please go to trevorproject.com or .org, and check it out. The Trevor Project is all about helping our youth, our LGBT plus youth, to prevent suicide. And one of the things I remember when I was growing up and I was hearing how bad I was and this and that, and God couldn't love me. And I knew I was gay and spent a lot of time being in the closet, and in fear of God, I wanted to kill myself. And this is what the journey is for a lot of our youth. So I am saying, please support this so we can go and help children understand that there's nothing wrong with them. They are divine emanation, unique expression of God. Therefore, as we say, there is no throwbacks in the bunch. So we're not throwing you back. In fact, we're embracing you. We're loving you. This is the time of inclusivity. It's a time of love. And I am the co-director of our LGBT ministry at Agape. And what my mission there as a co-director is to help people see the light within them as I'm still shining the light within myself. So we're celebrating with pride, with love, and this is our celebration, not just for this month, but forever.
And thank you, Rev Skip. I really enjoy basking in your glow.
Oh, dude.
You're so warm and comforting.
Thank you, my brother. I love you, and
we got some great guests today too. I'm really excited.
I am too. So let's get down. But first, we're going to go into our. It is our Wellness Wake Up with Rev Skip. And our Wellness Wake Up today comes from something I learned from both of my teachers that's going to be online with us in just a moment. It's all about journaling. And journaling can be a way that we can tap into our spiritual and emotional wellness. So wellness is just not about fitness. It's not just about the body. It's about where's your head? Where's your thinking? Where's your spirit? So I'm going to bring up this quote now. And this quote says, journaling is a way to be a good steward of the spirit's illuminations. And that's by John Piper. What I love about journaling, it is honesty from pen to paper. I get to write down my thoughts and knowing it's just for me. And I get to write down my thoughts and understanding that what I'm writing down is a divine download. So this illumination, this creativity, this spirit of journaling helped me to write my first book, which was a book of poetry. And it came from spiritual journaling, which I learned from my two teachers, which we'll speak to in a moment. I'm going to invite each and every one of us to really begin to journal. Journal your spiritual experience, journal your journey. And then I always go back to my earlier journals and start reading. I'm going, who was that person? Who was that person? Because you can see your transformation and your journey of transformation. So our Wellness Wake Up today is about the importance of journaling your spiritual growth. So let's go into our quotable ponder. And I got to find this promo because I love this so much. Thank you again, Diego, for this. I love that. That's our quotable ponder. A quotable ponder is simply this. We take a quote and we ponder it. We take a quote and we ponder it. Today's quotable ponder comes from Audre Lorde. And if you don't know who Audre Lorde is, a dynamic poet, a writer, a LGBT activist, women's rights activist. She is a human rights, or was a human rights activist. And I bless her. Her writings are so important to me as I grew to be who I am as Rev Skip. And this is what she writes. This is her quote. When I dare to be powerful, to use my strength in the service of my vision, then it becomes less and less important whether I am afraid. So this really spoke to me this week because as I was posting our celebration and the Pride collection from my clothing line from Shop Rev Skip, I was attacked on Facebook and on Instagram. And someone chose to tell me, well, there's nothing to celebrate. You need God. And I was very triggered by that. I was like, oh, wow, here we go. Here are the attacks. And it brought back all the stuff that I've been carrying with me, all the things that I had relearned, thought I was done with it. And then I started to get the attacks on social media. And I realized, hold on, what is my purpose? Why are we doing what we're doing? Why am I putting this line of t-shirts out? Why am I celebrating Pride? Because it's part of my vision. So I received this vision in my first visioning class through Reverend Coco Stewart 15 years ago, and I caught God's vision. And at the time when I caught it, I was afraid of it. I was like, oh my goodness, this is too big. I saw clothing line. I saw multiple books. I saw speaking all over the world, being global, connecting with. This is the vision that was downloaded, and I was afraid of it. I went, this is too big. But it took me time to grow into my vision, and realizing in that attack this week on social media was, oh, wait a minute, I'm stepping into my vision. And that moment I realized, oh, there's no room for fear here because I know that I'm in love. I'm in the power of God. I'm in the flow. I have faith. I'm loving myself. I'm open and willing to express and to share God in every way that I do. So I'm asking you today, don't be afraid. Understand that what you're doing, your creativity, your light will be for purpose. It is for purpose. So I am so excited today because we are going to talk about purpose. We're going to talk about vision. We're going to talk about so much. And my two guests, before I bring them in, I'm going to tell you a little bit about them and a little bit about that. I got my little readout here. I'm going to tell you what it says on the bio. First of all, Reverend Cheryl Ward, I love this woman. I love both of these women, is a dynamic, vibrant presenter and master teacher who served as the dean of Agape University. You'll always be my dean because you helped me through some very challenging times, Rev Cheryl. The education actually arms the Agape International Spiritual Center, and she empowered it from 2006 to 2019. And as tendered, she established this program and a way of teaching that actually expanded the university in such a way. We don't even have time to talk about how she created this learning process for us to understand spiritual and spiritual studies as us. So that's Reverend Cheryl. We also have Reverend Joanne, which I love, Reverend Joanne Coleman as well. She's a staff minister at Agape International Spiritual Center. She's the director of the Agape Visioning Corps. She's a shaman, y'all. She is a shaman. When she prays, watch out. She's a shaman, and she's an expert in Aramaic studies. And, she was my teacher. teach her about, not what Jesus said and how Jesus said it and why Jesus said it. I love this. And what I always say is that, Reverend Cheryl really taught me what it was to be a New Thought person. And then Reverend Joanne said, color outside the boxes. And then we just had a little conversation here. And Rev Cheryl said, there is in God, there is no lines, there is no boxes. So all this, I'm bringing two of my favorite people in the world right here in this space. Come on in, my teachers, my people.
Yes,
hello,
yes.
hello. How are you? Let's just start. Reverend Joanne, how are you? Hello, Reverend Joanne.
Hello. I am very well. I'm full of joy. I'm radiating.
Yes, I love that. Reverend Cheryl, how are you? How are you doing today?
I'm fantastic. I am here just feeling a glow with the flow and so happy to be here.
Thank you so much. What I do love about this idea of why I wanted to do a show, and it was the first iteration of this podcast of me having conversations. It was called High Conversations with Rev Skip. And the reason why I wanted to do that was to share these learnings that I've learned that I've been steeped in for over 15 years. And this journey, I wanted to share with the world what I got a chance to experience. I'm so lucky. And so welcome to In the Flow, y'all. Welcome.
Yes. I'm so happy to be here.
Good. Reverend Joanne, I got to ask you, what have you learned from this pandemic? I'm calling this sacred reset. What have you learned from all this that we've been experiencing?
That I've been making art every day. I've made a piece of art and that art is a path that opens my heart, and art is my spiritual practice. And during this place called pandemic, I could make art about any set of feelings or the feelings of my client, of our congregation. I have learned that art making is a healing path for me, and I've gotten stronger muscle.
Wow, that's amazing. Yes, I feel that. I feel that from you. Reverend Cheryl, what have you learned from this sacred reset that we're in the midst of? And it ain't over, y'all. So we are still in the middle of this. So what have you learned from this?
Well, first of all, I learned this pandemic meant nothing to the Spirit of the living God. God was still moving and grooving with all of us. And what we personally could do is to take a look at what was really important. So what I found is I got to connect with myself and spirit, spending more time alone and less time running about. And because I wasn't running about, I was spending less money. I wasn't in the shop. and then every Sunday I was getting together with my family, nieces, nephews, grandnieces. I'm a great aunt. And so that you take what you get, and it's like clay, and you begin to mold it in whatever way or fashion you feel in that moment. So I'm happy.
We have some people online saying hi to you. Janice says hi. Rev Cheryl, hi Rev, one of our members here. Good morning. Thank you for tuning in. Thank you, Janice, for turning in, one of our supporters of the show. One of the things I am learning about more and more of what I can do. In the middle of a pandemic where everyone was shutting down, my business actually grew by 4 times. And we created a different podcast, been on a different, on the Unity Online Radio with the new radio show. And I found out that I was able to create and do all these different things that I was asking other people to do for me. I was in the flow, and I'm grateful for that. So I want to ask Reverend Joanne, your biggest lesson in your spiritual awakening throughout this time has been what for you?
One of my beginnings is that my past does not determine my future.
Woo.
That no circumstance, no condition, no event causes my future. My heart and what I'm living in today, the vision God gave me today, is the life I'm having and will have in the future. My present love. My past, I took my past out of my future. I took my past right out of my future. I took my past right out of my future.
I love that.
That's
I love how you anytime
outside the lines, baby, outside the lines.
At any time you will hear Reverend Joanne drop into song, which I love about that. What have you learned, Reverend Cheryl? What have you learned thus far? What's your biggest lesson in your spiritual growth thus far about you?
Well, it's being in the now. The past, why drag it into the now? The future isn't here. So the now, even the now is more than the present. What you did or what you did not do doesn't make a damn thing. Doesn't mean a damn thing. Except whatever you color it to mean. So stop coloring it to mean things. And give greater meaning to the spirit of the living God. Just be present with now and go forward.
I love that. Hey, I'm going to continue on with you. And if I would ask you, who are you? What would you say? Who are you, Reverend Cheryl?
I use this all the time. And
I learned it from you. I learned this from you. I learned this process from you. Who are you?
I am. And those two powerful words are real important, because what you put after I am can either put you in a box or free you to fly to the furthest reaches of the universe. And I say that because as a little girl, I didn't know, but later came to know, I used to fly out in the universe. And I used to be out there looking for the edge of it. And one day I'm out there and the voice said, which was me, Spirit, there is no end. There's no end. It's an infinity. And I was too young to know at that time, but it always stayed with me. So as I matured into my spiritual teachings and understanding, I came to know myself as a free being, as a person who is really filled with the spirit of the living God. I grew up Christian Science, by the way, so I at a young age learned omnipotent, omnipresence, omniscience.
Yes.
So those are my early leanings, and I think our early leanings, our early spiritual introduction to what created, what creator is and what creation is, really can help us, or it can just kind of hold us back a little bit, but really there's no holding back, because everything's perfect for everyone right where they are.
I love that. And then I go to our dear Reverend Joanne, and same question to you, Reverend Joe. Who are you? Who you is?
I am a spiritual kaleidoscope.
Ooh, I love it.
Any which way you turn, you see the presence of God with multiple talents, gifts, attributes. I'm infinite. And Aramaically speaking, I am the Zadamut, translated as the image and the likeness. But a Rev Joe translation is I am the sculpture and I am the self-portrait of the one.
And everyone, if you're listening to this, if you're listening to this later on, Reverend Cheryl is fanning herself because she must be getting hot. So if you're listening to this on the podcast later on, that is the sound of wind that's coming through. But I love that. I love you both have said the same thing about being in the now moment, being here, and not allowing your past to really dictate who you are right here and right now. And so in that space of, I always say that we don't end where we started. The spiritual journey is so expansive. So a question, what is spiritual awakening? What has your journey been like? Reverend Joe, I'm going to leave it over to you. You can go ahead and talk about spiritual journey and awakening. And what has that been like for you?
The thing I love about the word journey is it's a journey that does not have a destination.
Yes.
It has no place it's going to wind up. It's just a joy, a fun, a skip to my loo, a delight to experience the full spectrum of being alive. My journey is this. Ooh, it's for me. Is tasty. I get to savor and taste all the expressions of the one that come in contact with me, and I come in contact with it. To be awake for me versus sleep is awake is becoming conscious that no matter what you do, you can't escape your connection to God. God has us surrounded. There will be no escape. And awake is being consciously connected, direct access that never fades. Like after a great 2-week vacation, we can't remember where we was. This journey, this awakening is fresh, right? It's, you know what I'm saying? We can take a dynamic workshop. We took copious notes, but the thing has faded in a particular way. The presence of God is unfadable, undiminishable. It don't go away. It's fresh every day. In my spirit, the Lord is making fresh bread every day. And I am attracted and taste the presence of God as fresh baked bread, which is referred to in the Lord's Prayer. You give me my bread that I need every day. Every day is fresh.
Absolutely.
That's
and
what
y'all,
my
I want
journey
y'all
has been like.
And
so
everyone,
far.
please realize that she did not say Lord. She said loud. She did not say Lord. I love that loud because that's what my mom says. That's how she says it. And I just bless it. I love it. I love it. Reverend Cheryl, if I would say to you, spiritual journey, because I remember in self-awareness, at the time it was called self-awareness class.
Yes.
That and you taught us about being aware of what consciousness really means. That was a big question. What is consciousness? So what has your spiritual journey been like, and what is awakening? If someone's looking and want to listen to this and going, well, I want to wake up. What's a spiritual awakening? What's that journey all about?
Well, it begins with an awareness that you are not alone. And by not alone, I don't mean surrounded by the billion of people on this planet. What I mean is that something greater than our little lives is really in control. As a little kid, I always wondered, well, who's in control? Well, who do I go to? I know my mother and father, and at that time, President Eisenhower. And then I thought, well, it can't be him because he's only president here. He can't be in control. What came to me is that there is a greater force that we call God, supreme being, spirit, or whatever, that's in charge. And because God is in charge, we're living a life that has been laid out for us. So while at one time I wanted to become a teacher, God allowed that to happen, but that wasn't all. And then the next thing I know, I'm being in law. I had no idea I'd ever do that. So, and then I move into ministry. So what's happening is there is a divine destiny unfolding of which we are a part, and it's being guided and directed by a supreme mind, a supreme being, a supreme knower. And I allow that to happen. Allow that to happen.
That's amazing. Part of I do a talk every Friday morning at 7 a.m. on Inside Timer, and we have named it "Get in the Flow." we're in the flow here, but helping people who have never talked about getting in the flow or what flow really means, helping people to understand. And I said this, it's all about allowing. It's not about making anything happen. It's about allowing everything to happen. And I love that word, allowing. That just speaks wonders to me. So thank you for bringing that. So let me
just add. So
absolutely,
my disappointments and your disappointments are God's reappointments, because that life is flowing and you're giving new appointments, new things to do for the Spirit of the living God.
Wow. Again, another like tweetable moment, as Oprah would say. This is a tweetable moment. This is a tweet. That's powerful. Very, very powerful. Reverend Joanne, in this whole place of creativity, and how's that like cultivated your spiritual journey in being creative?
Yeah, well, my creativity is endless. I often feel the spiritual, if you would. I can feel it in my body as the download is there, so I can sleep with a tape recorder or I sleep with my journal. And then I added a new thing to my vocabulary. And the omni I'm adding is omnificent. Omnificent. And the presence is omnificent, which means forever, like the omnis mean forever and all creative. It never ceases. An omnificent creator moving through the spiritual saxophone of my life as I live the jazz of living an unlife. Jazz is surprising. So yeah, omnificent.
I love it. Reverend Sandra Quiros is online here, which we all know.
Creative.
Yes, and Reverend Sandra Quiros says, "Drop the nuggets, Reverend Cheryl." My disappointments is God's reappointment. I love that. That is something that I'm borrowing. It might even be a quotable ponder coming up in the next week or so. Reverend Cheryl, yes, okay. Reverend Quiros, Reverend Sandra, you're going to remember these, and I'll get them from you when I talk to you later on today. So that's amazing mic drop moments. Reverend Cheryl, how is creativity showing up in your life? And I want to bring light to your beautiful daughter, who is just a dynamic actress, and I know you support her so much, Karen Ward, and she is just amazing at what she does. But how's creativity, shifted you? Because you're creative as well, and we've done some creative things in our classes.
Absolutely. Creativity took over me. I allow it. When I was a little kid, I used to create all kinds of things in our garage and get all the kids in the neighborhood to go along with me. I could look at TV and learn the choreography from that. I did that for 8 years. I went into teaching. I didn't teach their curriculum. New ideas would always flow, and I'd say, oh, I'll do this. So when I was teaching biology, I thought, I'm not going to just teach it like this. I'm going to get some test tubes and put some grape juice in them and put some balloons on the top so I can teach them about the gas that's released. Those balloons will blow up, and that will be a very visual of what I'm trying to teach. So creativity for me is about being free in the moment to not afraid, to just allow that new thing to come through you and present in that way. Same thing with law, too much to go into, but I'll just say this. I was always doing things that were never on my job description.
Yeah. That's right. I love that. If you could, and one of the things I love, because people also might not know that you were a very successful lawyer before becoming a minister. What is the one thing, if we're in that 9 to 5 and we are showing up, and I believe that we all work for God anyway, and it's all expansive experience of God. But if someone's looking at their jobs going, well, I want to be more creative in my job, what's the one thing that our listeners and viewers can do to be more creative in their job? I'm going to take this back to Reverend Cheryl first, and then I'll go over to Reverend Joanne. What can they do now?
So what I did in my job as a lawyer because I believe this, there's nothing against you. So even though in law there is that side and this side and somebody's going to win, I was on one side. I was on the side of the spirit. And so often I would write prayers and put them in my case file. When I would go into court, I'd go early and sit there and silence, say to God, okay, who needs a prayer today? Could be the judge, it could be a juror, it could be the bailiff, it could be the defendant, it could be the attorney. So I was always in a place of listening to the Spirit move through me. In fact, I told Reverend Michael, I'm undercover for God in this job.
Yes.
They think I'm here being a lawyer, but I'm much more than that.
Yes, you are undercover for God. I love that. Reverend Joanne, what is the one thing that someone can do now to cultivate creativity in the work that they're doing?
The one thing they can do now is just to call it forth, to let themselves go a little bit to the left of the tradition they find themselves in, you know, to creativity is the way we listen to the world and the way we listen to each other, and move from listening to something to listening for something, from listening to a person to listening for their beauty, listening for their greatness, listening for their compassion, and listening for causes me to be a sacred vessel into which they can surprise themselves with the pouring of their a thing, a predicted path. Because when you're creative, you're not killing the box, but you move to the edge of the box so you can go outside and come back. You know, you come back to be already exist. So I offer listen for greatness in addition to listening to someone. To cultivate today, I listen for the presence of God. I listen for the little to the left, please.
I love that. That is beautiful. Wow.
I listen for the needle move.
Yes. I was going to say, it's another nugget drop moment here. We're dropping nuggets.
Yes.
One thing I got to ask
that I can make.
You know what? And Reverend Sandra, you are actually bringing forth this next question that I got to ask. You know, both of you. Did you kind of laugh at us? Not laugh at us, but were you amused at our ideas in 10.5 years ago when we stepped into ministerial? Didn't know it was going to be that. I'm talking about purpose now. When I walked into ministerial, it's not what I thought it was going to be, y'all. Being a minister is nothing of what I thought it was going to be to now. Did you have a little giggle, Reverend Cheryl, Reverend Joanne, about what we would learn eventually about becoming a minister?
Yeah, but I was at the same time, I was you, because I was remembering my first step into ministry, and I didn't know really what the hell, or in heaven's name, I was going to do while I was here. But I kept going anyway, and that's what we encourage you guys to do. Keep going anyway.
Reverend Joanne, what about you? What did you, our first steps in ministerial, what was that for you to experience that as newbies coming into this world of being a minister?
I was so excited. I was all pointers. I'm so excited, right? I could hardly wait for the life you had predicted to not come true, and the life ordained to be the manifest life. And neither of us at the beginning knew what that was going to be. Because if it was something I could predict, then it was already from the past, right? So I was excited, thrilled. I like this phrase, thrilled, tickled, and delighted to be one of your spiritual doulas in the birthing of your ministry.
Wow, I'm dishonored. So I'm filled right here, and I'm going to stay
Cheryl
with
Reverend. Yes.
I'm going to stay with Reverend Joanne on this question. If we are talking about, and this is a show about transformation, purpose, Reverend Joanne, how would you describe purpose, and how would you invite someone to find their purpose?
Okay, thank you. That's a big question.
It sure is.
First thing, I don't think that there is a destiny called the purpose. I think that in this new life, we need to put an S on our purpose. So we have purposes. I have purposes in my family. I have purposes in my art making. I have purposes in my romantic relationship. I have purpose in my prayer. I think I was a woman with this, look, Reverend Skip, with that much talent over there, one word called purpose ain't gonna hold you.
Yes,
You need
yes.
to. Then purpose, I think purpose comes from the omniscient space of God, in that a purpose is not walking around trying to find it. I'm of the persuasion that a purpose is created and invented with this caveat. That is a purpose invented and created worthy of your life.
Yes. Yes.
That's how you'll measure it. It's worthy, it's worth it. And I invented it. I created it. It's not given to me. It ain't on a stamp on my back. It's not a henna tattoo. It is found out of that is one of the wildest things God ever gave a human being was choice.
You know, I love that. I love that. You said, I love
choice.
The fact that
Destiny,
I love the fact that you said it's not a henna tattoo. Someone who loves tattoos, and no henna here, y'all. It is the real deal. When you go to the needles and the tap, 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 tap,
Yes.
you feel every needle that goes through. It's not a like
right.
henna is permanent.
That's
I love that. I got that. Thank you. Reverend Cheryl, tell me about purpose, please. Tell me about purpose, Reverend Cheryl.
Yes, right.
Purpose is very simple. It's just to be available to God. And then wherever you are, whatever is going on, you are available to something that moves through you. That's where my life has been. That's how my life has been. Things that I never conjured up or imagined. I didn't write it out. I just, in this moment, this is what I'm called to do. I'm called to do. And so I'm here for God. Use me, the song that we sing all the time.
Yes, yes.
And so it's always going to be flowing, as Reverend Joanne has just shared with us. It's a flowing thing. So if I can just say, I'm here for you. God is here for me. We are here for each other. One and the same thing. I will know exactly what to do in that moment. That's a whole book. I could write a book about that.
And please do, and please do. I'm in the middle of writing. I'm in the middle of writing my fourth book, and this fourth book, I actually have had 300 pages of stuff that I need to condense it down. But every time I hear something else, I'm going to go, I need to put that in there about purpose. That's another part. I need to, and that was so good. So there's a time that, and it can't really be done, but you want to streamline it. And because I believe God is so expansive, and I always go, that's another part in the book, but streamlining. So part of this podcast, which I love, and part of this, what we do, is called the Yes Moment. And the Yes Moment is an acronym that I use all the time. And yes stands for you expressing spirit. That is our yes moment. So this is the time that I get to step out and allow my guests to just express whatever comes to heart. And Reverend Joanne, I'm going to have you do the yes moment first. So I'm going to turn it over to you, Reverend Joanne. The yes moment. Everyone, Reverend Joanne Coleman.
The yes moment that I'm working with right now is I received an offer. It's taken me a lot of breathing to receive in a major company to publish my work. And it's required spiritual practice every day to come to that work when I don't know how or I don't know what. I just know that something is happening. And I'm willing to, as work had to do with making clay, I'm going to make 52 faces of God. That's what the Oracle deck's going to be called, 52 faces. And they would like to have little 4 faces, Reverend Skip. And my yes moment is that I pick up the clay and hold the desire, the weight of my desire in the ball of clay, and then I push it out. I do a few gestures at the clay, listening for the push and the pull of what this clay wants to be, what God wants this face, this quality to be. I'm expressing God as an artist. I'm self-identified artist monk, because the qualities of being a monk and living in my heart's monastery are the same qualities I need to live, to make the work I'm called. I'm a woman who has discovered and has been called to multiple purposes. I'm a woman who offers the S in purposes. So know that I'm a life not contained by tradition. I'm a multi-purpose being. My art has many forms. I am a yes because my body, and I wrote a little song called My Body is Fulla, Fulla. My body is full of yes. My body is full of yes. My heart is full of yes. My soul is full of yes. Yes, I'm willing to risk guidance moment to moment. Moment to moment, pushing the clay, and that's for my life, the rest of my life as well. That it is, my life is a work of art, and the peace that comes from the master teacher of very one, that's what made me a masterpiece.
Yes, that amen. Is a yes. Oh, yes moment. That is an amen. Yes, yes moment. Thank you, Reverend Joanne Coleman. Wow. Reverend Cheryl Ward, what is a yes moment for you? Please give us a yes moment, Reverend Cheryl.
A yes is a yes to guess, to be the guest of God always, because that's what we are here on this planet. And my life has always been about being here for God, believing deeply in the presence of the living God, being a believer deeply in what we see in this manifest world is really coming from a larger space. It's coming from an infinite source that is endless and never runs out. And so my yes, especially now, I do a lot of work, as you know, in manifestation, the oath of manifestation, which was given to me, which is my way of saying I take an oath not to abandon God. Often we abandon God. Mm-hmm. We get upset. We get upset that something didn't happen when we wanted, or we didn't get the right partner, or we didn't get the right job. And we abandon the divine plan and the divine unfolding destiny. My yes is to always be here for God. And in that, I write a lot. And one of the things I have written about manifestation is a believer is a receiver and a receiver is a believer. The believer transmutes the energy of God and propels an action forward that comes into a physical manifestation. A believer reorders, regenerates, reshapes, and allows transformation. The receiver maintains the posture of openness and is available to infinite possibilities and catches the transmuted energetic field. I have a whole thing, a section on that, but that's where I stop right now.
I love the oath of manifestation, and it has really opened my idea of what manifestation truly is. Wow. This is why my teachers are my teachers, y'all. This is why I'm Rev Skip and the way I show up in this planet, because I've learned from these, and I've been really paying attention to the divine feminine lately, of being with my mother and going through the restoring of Mother Earth. And I am very clear that my teachers has been 80% of women showing up as the divine feminine. And both of you, my teachers, my friends, have taught me how to soften, how to really tap into the divine feminine within myself. And I want to publicly say thank you. Thank you for being my teacher. Thank you for being my friend. Thank you for getting me through the times where I wanted to walk away. I'm like, I'm done with ministerial, y'all. I'm out. I'm done. I don't need to be licensed. And there was those moments, and both of you went, no, you got to complete, especially that last year. Reverend Joanne, we had that conversation out by there where with Ricky, and you were like, oh, no, we got to talk. We got to get you through. We're going to get you through. Reverend Cheryl on the phone to call you. No, we're going to get you through, because I wanted to walk away, and I didn't know I would be walking away from my calling.
That's right.
So I want to thank you for showing up today. So Reverend Joanne, where are you? Where are you going to be speaking? What are you doing?
Right.
Let's give a little bit where people can follow you. Reverend Joanne, go ahead. I'm going to say, where are you? Where can people find you?
Okay. Reverend Cheryl?
Yeah.
Okay, Reverend Cheryl. Let's go with Reverend Cheryl first. Where are you?
What are you
Reverend
doing?
Cheryl?
What doing?
You can find me on June 13th on Unity of Sacramento. I'm going to be speaking there. It's pre-taped. I'm also doing a class on the Oath of Manifestation for that community beginning June 21st. You can go to my Instagram at Cheryl J. Ward. You can go to my Facebook, The Oath of Manifestation, The Oath of Manifestation Global.com, and you can find out more information. Follow me.
That's a lot. I love it. I love it. Reverend Joanne, where can people follow you and find you and see what you're doing?
Okay, so what I'm up to is completing an oracle deck called The 52 Faces of God. And you can find me starting next Thursday, called Transformational Thursdays. I'll be doing a Facebook live broadcast days. I will start a series of probably webinars. I don't know what they're called, but some kind of a NARD, where I will be teaching a big series called The Bible, maybe it's not big, but it's long, a long series called The Bible Comes Alive. And the first episodes will be This Ain't Your Grandmother's Jesus. And then move on to the 7 keys, the women Jesus, right? This ain't your grandmother's Jesus, but I can talk about my grandmother's Jesus because she got me. My grandmother's Jesus got me all the way here. So there'll be Transformational Thursdays, Facebook Live beginning next Thursday, and I'll post in the on my Facebook pages when the Bible Comes Alive cast. It's a podcast or a webinar. I'm not sure because I thought this was a podcast, but I can see you.
Yeah,
so I don't know what these things are. But I have, like you, Diego in Florida who,
Yes. Thank you, Diego.
Good.
Yes.
So that's what I'm up to. This ain't this. That's right. You need that technical person to cross the divide from my IBM Selectric typewriter to the computer keyboard.
Yes.
It's a long journey.
So
but I'm full of yes, baby. I'm full of yes.
Yes, I would be amiss not to say my 2 favorite classes. Number 1 was with Reverend Joanne, was Jesus and the Women Who Loved Him. That was a powerful class. And it was also another class that you did that I loved was ceremonies.
Right.
So we learn how to create our own ceremonies. And Reverend Cheryl, self-mastery and self-awareness, and that has always been my classes with you that I love, and I helped you facilitate over the last summer. It was a beautiful experience to jump back into that. So these are classes at Agape International Spiritual Center, Agape University. So whenever you see something coming online, you see it on Facebook or you hear me talking about it, get into the classes, y'all, because that is what spiritual awakening and development is all about. Also, everyone, you can find out more about Rev Skip. Just go to my website. It's skipjennings.com. Sign up for my newsletter. We're going to be bringing the newsletter back into bi-weekly. I've had a little bit of a lull in my newsletter, but we're going to get back onto that journey. Find out more about, you can take me home and not cook me breakfast. You can buy my book, the little book for big transformation, which my forward was actually part of my ministerial thesis, which is included into the second edition. It's now on Audible as well. So you can listen to the voice of Rev Skip. Also find out about Shop Rev Skip, because shoprevskip.com, 10% of what we're doing is actually going to companies to make a difference. So a part of the chakra collection, 10% goes to Kuumba in Motion, and that's Ricky Byers' foundation. 10% of the Pride collection is going to the Trevor Project, which we talked about at the top of the podcast. And then on the Black collection, 10% of the profits will go to Justice LA, which is helping to stop the footprint of mass incarceration, which is the birth child of slavery, I truly believe. And then we have the summer collection that we are supporting, Voices Uncaged, which is to help people use creativity in people who are incarcerated. So Shop Rev Skip is all about making a difference. And one thing I've learned from these teachers right here, I'm here to make a difference, to be a beneficial presence on the planet. Find out more information, just go to skipjennings.com. And also, this has been a joy for me to have my two favorite teachers here. Also, support New Thought Media Network, y'all. We're here to make a difference. I'm a supporter. I give, if you get an In the Flow t-shirt, 10% of that goes to the New Thought Media Network. So we're supporting things all over the planet. Also, share, like, support. Also, you can donate to New Thought Media Network to, what is it again, Diego? Can you put that up? This is why I got Diego, because I can't remember a lot of the things that come up. Diego, put that up there. There you go. Support at ntmedia.org/donate, or Rev Skip. I'm on PayPal and Venmo. You can support my ministry as well. Listen, this has been such a thrill. I'm so excited about what just went on. I got to go back and re-listen to all this. Thank you, my teachers. Thank you so much for showing up in the flow. I love you both so much.
Thank you.
So yeah, everyone, I just want to remind everyone as we close out this show that, remember, transformation is a choice.
Thank you.
And you can choose a day. You're so welcome. Thank you. So everyone, until next week, we have another big show coming up next week. So stay tuned. We love you. Peace and blessings, everyone.
Thanks for joining us on today's episode of In the Flow. If you enjoyed this programming, please help us spread this joy. Be sure and give this video a like, leave a comment, and don't forget to subscribe. New Thought Media Network can be found on Facebook or our YouTube channel. Additional contributions are greatly appreciated at ntmedia.org/donate, or find Rev Skip on PayPal and Venmo. Tune in on Fridays, 10 a.m. Pacific, 11 Mountain, when Rev Skip welcomes a new guest. Until then, faith, love, openness, and willingness keeps us in the flow. Welcome to the Black Collection. All designs and prints are acronyms and principles Rev Skip teaches clients and students for personal transformation and spiritual growth. 10% of the profits from the Black Collection go to Justice LA Now. Justice LA Now is working to reduce the footprint of incarceration in Los Angeles County and reinvest county dollars into alternatives to incarceration. Justice LA Now. Find your designs at shoprevskip.com.
New Thought Media Network. We are a global broadcast network of positive music, media, and entertainment, inspiring humanity's evolution along the journey of enlightenment and creating a world of love, peace, empowerment, and prosperity for all.